Welcome to the IHG family of hotels and resorts. Your safety, the safety of your colleagues, and our guests is our primary goal. This video is just part of the training you will receive as a member of the IHG team. We expect every associate to act professionally at all times and to follow all established standards, policies, and procedures. Preventing slips, trips, and falls is an important part of your job. Throughout this video, we'll look at ways you can prevent yourself from experiencing a slip, trip, or fall, and things you can do that will help your fellow associates and our guests stay safe as well. If you have questions about the information in this program, please take the time to ask your supervisor or trainer for assistance. They'll be glad to help. Slips and falls can happen anywhere on the property: in a guest room, the parking lot, the lobby, stairs, the kitchen, back of house areas, and any other area where someone might walk. What caused these injuries and how could they have been prevented? Let's go ahead and take a closer look. What caused this fall? The wet floor? Not exactly. The floor was wet, but there were caution signs in place warning of the conditions. If she had been paying attention, she would have seen the sign and avoided the wet area. Slips and falls are often easily prevented by being aware of your surroundings and following warning signs. How about this scenario? Is a room attendant supposed to put out a wet floor sign to warn herself? Well, of course not, but that doesn't mean she had to slip or fall. Simple things like drying the floor before beginning to clean the bathroom or placing a used towel on the floor can prevent slips and falls. Be aware and think of ways you can prevent a slip or fall. Shoes with slip-resistant soles can also help improve traction on wet or slick surfaces, but sometimes it's hard to tell what is slip-resistant and what is not. This pair? Of course not. This pair? Maybe. This pair? What do you think? Slip-resistant shoes have specially constructed soles. Remember, not every rubber-soled shoe is slip-resistant. Make sure you know and don't guess. There is a difference. What caused this injury? The stairs? No. This fall occurred because the colleague was not holding the handrail. You should hold the handrail whenever you go up or down stairs. No exceptions. Did the bathtub cause this fall? No. This room attendant did not follow correct procedure and failed to use tools that are designed to help her safely do her job. Standing on the edge of the bathtub can lead to a very serious injury. Instead, the room attendant should have stood on the floor and used an extension tool to clean the areas that are outside of her reach. If you need to stand inside the tub, make sure you place a towel down first. If you cannot perform the job safely, even with the appropriate tools, let your manager know. It's never okay to sacrifice safety for a quality issue. The same rule applies in other areas as well. Don't stand on a bed, toilet, or other unsafe object. Stand on the floor and use the proper extension tool. By now, you should be able to determine what caused this injury. The mat? Let's take another look. Reading or looking at your phone while walking is a recipe for disaster. Also, if someone had taken the 2 or 3 seconds it takes to correct the hazard, no one would have fallen. Leaving a cord in the hallway is a sure way to cause a trip and fall. But in certain circumstances, hazards such as this cannot be avoided. When using a corded appliance such as a vacuum, maintain cord control to minimize trip hazards and be aware of others in the area. On occasion, there may be a situation where you cannot avoid having a cord in the middle of a walkway. For instance, when you're setting up for an event and need to plug in an electrical item such as a computer. If this is the case, use a cord cover or brightly colored tape to securely affix the cord to the floor. If one of your tasks is to vacuum public areas, consider performing this task during periods when there is minimal use, such as midday. Please note, extension cords are not permitted as an option for permanent wiring. This is both a fire hazard and an OSHA violation. Can you think of how this trip could have been prevented? Well, of course you can. Don't leave linen or bedspreads on the floor. After stripping the bed, place the bedspread or comforter on a chair, table, or other out-of-the-way location. Beyond preventing an employee injury, you can also help improve your hotel's quality by keeping bedspreads and pillows off an unvacuumed floor. Wet floors, carpeting, objects out of place. All of these can contribute to a potential slip, trip, or fall. However, as you've seen, conditions such as these are usually only part of the problem. It is up to you to either correct or report slip, trip, and fall hazards when you observe them. There are some other things you can do to help reduce the likelihood of a slip, trip, or fall incident in your hotel. First and foremost, wear slip-resistant shoes like we discussed earlier. And of course, if the shoes have laces, make sure they are tied securely at all times. Front of house staff should change shoes when going back of house. No high heels in the back of house. Additionally, food and beverage departments should never allow other teams to use their department as a shortcut. Ensure that all surfaces are clean and in good condition. If unsafe conditions are found, they should be corrected immediately. Don't carry anything that blocks your vision in any way. If you must transport a load that comes above your chest, make 2 trips and carry less each time, or use a cart or hand truck to assist. If you notice any other hazards, such as a leaking vending or ice machine, a broken tile, or anything else that may cause a slip, trip, or fall, stop and alert your supervisor immediately. This way, steps can be taken to correct the hazard before an injury occurs. Walk-off mats at entrances will help keep the floors inside cleaner, drier, and more slip-resistant. Anti-fatigue mats are a great aid to those who stand in one place all day. But be sure they are clean and lay flat. Mats may also be placed in back-of-house areas which are known to be wet, such as in the dish area or on the kitchen cooking line. It is very important that these mats are properly connected and kept clean. Remember, different surfaces offer different levels of traction. Carpet offers much more traction than tile, so be prepared for this change in traction when walking from one surface to another. Freezers can also present a real hazard due to ice buildup and slippery surfaces. Walk carefully at all times and clean up any water or ice immediately. Keep all file drawers closed and keep all hallways and walkways clear of obstacles and obstructions. Just because you work in the front desk or administrative areas, you could still experience a slip, trip, and fall injury. Keep computer cables and electrical cords out of the path of foot traffic. If you see something on the floor that doesn't belong there, pick it up. It only takes a few seconds and can prevent a serious injury. Clean up spills immediately. Don't wait. Alert someone to retrieve proper cleaning supplies and stand by to warn others of the hazard until they return. If floors are wet, be sure that proper warning signs are in place where everyone can see them. In high traffic areas, it may be necessary to dry mop the area immediately after wet mopping to dry the surface more quickly. Beware, if you're responsible for mopping a hazard or for preventative floor care, be sure to use clean, warm, and soapy water. Otherwise, you can be contributing to the problem. When going up or down stairs, always hold the handrail. If you notice loose, missing handrails, burnt out lighting, or loose carpeting or flooring, this is something you should report right away. Always watch where you are walking. We know you're busy, but it is important to avoid distractions. Never walk backwards. Never read while you're walking. Watch where you are going and be alert. And never run at work. Although we are in the fast-paced hospitality industry and we don't want to disappoint our guests and colleagues if we are late, we still must make safety our priority. Imagine, if you're rushing and slip and fall, you will not be able to deliver the great customer service that IHG is all about. Part of creating great hotels guests love is keeping yourself and those you work with safe and healthy. An injury also adds an additional burden on our fellow associates who have to work harder because you are now out of work due to an injury. Beyond watching out for yourself, don't feel bad about asking a coworker to slow down or perform a task safely. Safety is everyone's responsibility. If the ground is wet or muddy, be prepared for reduced traction and adjust your step accordingly. Uneven surfaces can also cause a serious trip and fall, but by watching where you walk, you'll be prepared for it. Keep walkways, aisles, and other walking surfaces clear and free of boxes, paper, or any other item that may cause a slip, trip, or fall. Also, never block electrical panels or fire safety equipment. Keeping walkways clear is always a key element of fire safety. If you have to retrieve or reach an item in an overhead location, always use the proper ladder for the job. Never stand on a milk crate, box, or other similar unsafe item. Never climb on shelves. Use the proper ladder or step stool for the job. If you are retrieving an item from a high shelf, you should hand the item down to a coworker, then climb down the ladder. And one more thing, slips, trips, and falls don't just happen at work. They are a leading cause of injury in the home. So take the knowledge you learned today and take it home with you. Remember, wear slip-resistant shoes. Watch where you walk. Use proper ladders or approved step stool. Hold the handrail and clean up all spills immediately. Certainly, there are many more hazards you may encounter at your property. We can't possibly address every slip, trip, or fall hazard in this short video. That's why it's so important for you to be aware and to exercise good judgment. After all, the best safety procedures and policies in the world won't do any good if you don't take a personal responsibility for your own safety and the safety of those around you. If you notice a hazard, correct it or report it immediately. It's that simple. Thanks for watching and have a safe day.